instant holy moment. Sing, oh, holy, holy, oh, holy, holy, oh, holy, holy, oh. Can you sing that with me? Oh, oh, holy, holy, oh, keep it going. Oh, holy, holy, oh, I will lead you home. Lead us to love, holy, holy, oh. Lead us to peace, oh. Holy, holy, oh. Holy, holy, oh. Holy, holy, oh. Holy, oh, oh. There we go. Yes, that's what it was. My apologies. So I have a favor to ask. My dear sister, I believe you grabbed my notes because I set them on there and they're gone. So would you mind letting me have those? They're somewhere. While we wait on those, yeah, there they are. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I could do it without them, but I kind of like to have these. So that reminds me of a great point. Following instructions, recipes. How many of you, when you're cooking or preparing something, or the men that might not cook, putting something together like a trampoline for the kids or things like that, how many of you like to strictly follow directions? Raise your hand. And how many of you just whip it out and kind of go by intuition and put it together, see what happens? Excellent. Now I know who I'm talking to. We got a nice mix. So the funny thing is, in life, I found that many of us fall into different schools where if we're trying to figure something out, we kind of want to do it on our own, right? Figure it out by our own intuition and work tirelessly on our own guidance and direction. And some of us, we're like, you know what? I want to find the shortcut. Give me the instructions. Somebody help me and spell it out for me. I don't want to have to figure this out, right? And then sometimes we switch. We go from, you know what? I've tried it my way. It's not working out. Somebody help. Give me the instructions. As a wonderful leader you may know of, a thought leader I like to call him, Tony Robbins, often talks about, he says, success leaves clues. And what he says is the fastest way to get to success is find somebody who's where you want to be and follow the instructions that they leave, right? Well, today, I would love to tell you I'm going to be that guy that comes and gives you the recipe. And all you got to do is follow these instructions and you will succeed, right? The irony is I'm still trying to figure the instructions out. I'm finding new ways to explore different routes and asking and seeking and following. And thankfully, some of these things are working out. Some of them not so much, right? So I got to revise, find a new plan, seek out a new path to success. And I think that's life. I think what happens, I don't know if we ever get to the point where we're like, I have figured it out, follow me, right? We figure some things out and then there's new mountains to climb, as we know. So today's message, I'm speaking from, thankfully, the clues of success that I receive and am still implementing and learning. So I'm on the same journey and I'm sharing with you what I'm learning, and I hope you get something out of it. Today's message: choosing to reflect, rest, and remember. Choosing to reflect, rest, and remember. We're often compelled to act out of our own conditioning, and at times, believe it or not in our best interest. We were just talking about, we had some family, I won't name names because they might watch this. They were over and they know the ingredients in some of these things cause problems. And some of them have struggled with these very problems, yet use these same things with these ingredients, right? Have you ever been in that situation where you know something's not good for you, but you keep doing it? That's what we're talking about, that repetitive action of doing something not in our best interest. There are times when it's important to rest, relax, rejuvenate, and reflect. Taking time to remember what we're here for. These times are just as important as the times of action. Yet we don't always recognize their value or necessity. That is me. These times are just important because it's a practical reminder of recognizing the value and necessity of stopping. So this is a reminder of why it's so important to make time for these essential ingredients to our growth, to our prosperity, to our genius, expressing as inspiration. So let's look at each word. Reflect. What does it mean to reflect? What does it mean to reflect? I'm going to give you the Oxford Dictionary. That's my Oxford Language Dictionary meaning, because when you Google something, that's usually what comes up. Think deeply or carefully about, to reflect. Without reflection, we find ourselves at a loss for determining what or why patterns occur. Without reflection, we find we miss out on expanding our awareness into cause and effect, into the inner workings of life. The subtle expressions of meaning, vibration, frequency. Without reflection, we find ourselves unconsciously operating the expressions of codes and energies that we may not even be aware we're operating within our field. Without reflection, we're unable to assess what has transpired, much less determine whether we desire to continue our behaviors. Reflection. Anybody familiar with self-reflection? It's defined as meditation or serious thought about one's character, actions, and motives. Without self-reflection, we're unable to fully ascertain the inner workings of our lives, the lessons and meaning available to acknowledge we're operating from and unaware of abilities to choose differently. Self-reflection. There was a great writer from back in the day who wrote something called The Apology of Socrates. Anybody know who that writer was? Plato, right? Did you know, by the way, Socrates is not necessarily a real person? Like, they think he may be a fictitious character. They can't prove he existed. I didn't know that. I always thought Socrates was like Plato's teacher and definitely existed. But Plato wrote this whole apology about Socrates being put to death and how he was defending himself. Apology actually did not mean apologize. It meant apologia, which is to defend. And in this wonderful defense, Socrates explained, the unexamined life is not worth living. Now, whether the guy existed or not, there was truth to it. The unexamined life is not worth living. Thus, we're charged with either reflecting on our lives, our intentions, our behaviors, and uncovering these inner workings that we may know ourselves for, choosing consciously what we wish to create vibrationally, inner states, and experientially, or we may continue to ignore, forget, and find ourselves acting our roles based on limited conditioned thinking passed on from ancestry, community, family, friends, etc. We go through, you know this, we go through the stages. From certain age, we get the conditioning from our family, then it becomes our friends, then it expands, society, etc. Our son, thankfully, he's in that stage where he's finally stopped listening to mom and dad so much. He's kind of doing his own thing, right? He's forming his own opinions about life. Well, that's a good thing. That independence is good. He gets to chart his own course and decide whether he wants to listen or take these beliefs on anymore. But we have to go through that phase where we start to develop our own understanding, if you will, and then we get to experience. The challenge is when we don't self-reflect, what happens? When we don't take time to self-reflect, we keep operating with these programs that may or may not be creating the results we want. Think about this. If you go in the kitchen and you whip something up and you taste it, it's like, oh, this is so good. This might hit home, by the way. Oh, this is delicious. Wow, this is amazing. Can you make that again? And the next time you go and whip it up and it's like, that don't taste quite the same. What's different? So we're going to try this again. All right. The next time you serve it, it's closer, but not quite there. Why would that happen? Probably wasn't following the recipe, right? Probably just doing it. I mean, it could be many factors, but typically that's because you're not following the recipe. You're doing it by intuition. And each time it's not exactly the same, right? The interesting thing about self-reflection, it lets you take account and become aware of cause and effect. It's when we take that time to say, okay, what did I do in this kitchen this time? How much did I actually put in? Like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's what made it different. You begin to reflect on the ingredients you put in the recipe, and now you can try to change it, but if you don't measure it, you can't track it, right? If you don't measure it, you can't track it. So you have no idea what you did last time. It's the same in life. If we don't self-reflect, we're not measuring, therefore we're not tracking. And the cause and effect becomes quite challenging to figure out, why am I waking up in a bad mood? Well, let's self-reflect. What did you do last night? What did you eat? What were you thinking before you went to bed, right? How was the day? If we don't take that time to meditate and be thoughtful about what's going on in our lives, it becomes very hard to change it, to create a new recipe. Self-reflection. Without reflection, there is no hope for fulfillment that lasts. For there will always be a tendency to lean toward forgetting unless we choose to remember. Unless we choose to awaken, we choose to reflect now. What's important to reflect, to meditate upon, is one's character, actions, and motives to ensure we are in alignment with where we'd like to be. For the consequences or wages of our actions, character, and motives are, I like this word, commensurate, right? I had to look that one up. Commensurate. They're commensurate with the quality that we've chosen. Therefore, self-reflection allows us to see if we wish to continue reaping the harvest we've sown. How do we reap a harvest, and how do we sow? The quality of our thinking, my favorite. Oh, you were about to answer, weren't you? Go ahead, you first. Excellent. Yes. Reaping what you sow, taking in what you give. Exactly. Exactly. The interesting thing is we can do it with thought. We can sow with our thinking. The quality of our thinking is like a quality of seed. If you have terrible seed, what are you going to reap? A terrible harvest. If you choose a higher level quality of thinking, what do you reap? A higher quality experience. Now, you don't have to change the external with your thinking to have a different experience. Here's the interesting thing. I love a guy named Myron Golden, who is like a biblical teacher, and he talks about framing. When a fact occurs, you've got a negative and a positive always, right? There's always a polarity. No matter what happens in our lives, there's a fact, there's a negative and a positive. We can choose immediately to see that fact and then choose the positive and frame that fact with the positive, or choose the negative, frame it with the negative, or some combination thereof, right? Often the tendency when we struggle with fear, or we've had traumas in the past, or disappointments and hurts, the tendency is to choose the negative, especially if it looks anywhere near the trauma we experienced. Like, let's say you got into a fight, right? Something happened and, it was traumatic for you. And then a similar instance happened where somebody says something similar. It might trigger something in you, and you begin to see threat. Immediately look to the negative. Whatever it is, whatever the fact is, when you look at the negative, what occurs is goes from the head to the heart. That negativity creates a feeling and an experience of anxiety. And I love this distinction, fear and anxiety. Fear is the actual concern of a present appearance of threat. Anxiety is the future imagination or an imagined concern over imagined threat, right? So that anxiety kicks in over this imagined threat, even though it hasn't shown up. And what that produces is this shutting down, let's say, of the hand, this tightening, so the action doesn't happen. A lot of times when people think about stepping into their dreams, stepping into their lives, they begin to frame it with negativity and fear because of past actions, failures, etc. And then that becomes anxiety, and it shuts them down, and the action doesn't occur. On the contrary, when we look to the positive of a fact, okay, we look at the possibilities and we focus there, it begins to inform the heart and it empowers. And instead of anxiety, we feel anticipation. That anticipation opens the hand. Action can flow. The quality of our experience is informed by the quality of our thinking. If I choose positive thoughts, a higher quality, it creates an experience of anticipation, gratitude, joy, and action will follow. So how does that have to do with what we're talking about? In reality, reflection can help us see how we're framing the facts, the quality of our thinking. But without reflection, we can't see that pattern, and we can't change it consciously. So that's the recipe to choosing a higher quality of thinking through reflection. Now let's talk about rest and relaxation. That's a very important ingredient to growth and inspiration. Whether we're in the domain of the physical, whether we're in the domain of the spiritual, mental, or creative, it all works similarly. There's a wonderful author named Jeffrey Williams, who I became friends with, got his book called The Songwriting Genius Within You. It changed my entire practice of songwriting. I love this book. And I loved it so much that I got in touch with him and said, hey, man, are you like, do you have an affiliate program for this or anything? He's like, no. I said, would you please make one? This was ages ago. He made one. Now I've licensed it and rewrote some things. He gave me his permission. It's such a great work, but the reason I bring it up is the 4 eyes. Inside of it, it talks about the 4 eyes. For creativity and to tap into genius, intention is the first eye. Information, the second eye. Incubation, the third, and inspiration, the fourth. What does that mean? Well, what he teaches is basically start with an intention. Many of us are familiar with that. To be intentional, set an intention. I want to write a song that helps people and empowers them and moves them in the soul. That'd be an example of an intention, right? Second, information. He talks about gathering information, studying songwriting, whatever that may be, studying what moves people, taking that in. Third, he talks about incubation. Now, incubation, many of our geniuses of the past have pointed to how they receive inspiration. Case in point, Mozart. Mozart would use incubation by going out and traveling in his horse and buggy around a park, and suddenly visions would come to him. He'd receive inspiration that way. Einstein, he had his process. In fact, the theory of general relativity came to him taking a nap. That was his incubation process. He woke up and bing! Remember who invented the light bulb? Edison. Now get this. Edison had these steel balls. He would take in a bunch of information, then he'd lay down and take a nap, have the steel balls. As soon as they fall out of his hand, he'd be in that state where he'd wake up and be like, okay, and he'd let the inspiration come to him. And he invented many things, right? They had these processes to enter the incubation state. Jeffrey Williams, this author I'm telling you about, what he would talk about, he would just go and have fun with his friends after taking in the information. Go have fun and not think about the process or the problem anymore. He speaks of an intention, taking in information, allowing the unconscious to go through a process of sorting, distilling, deleting, distorting, and integrating information to come up with new creative ideas. And the other thing we know is that we don't even need to pay attention to the topic at hand for this to be happening. In fact, it's likely if you do try to get involved, your conscious mind will get in the way. So incubation is about letting go, stepping back, and then the inspiration can flow. Because the unconscious mind is processing way more than our limited, conditioned, conscious mind can process. Now, what does this have to do with the topic we're discussing? We talk about reflection. Reflection is a way of gathering information about your life, becoming clear, seeing how you're choosing. Then we can set an intention to go in a different direction. Relaxation. Relaxing, taking that break, that's about incubation. If you're living a life that feels uninspired, you may want to check, am I reflecting and am I relaxing? Because 9 times out of 10, one of those ingredients is missing. I may not be reflecting. I may not be relaxing. I may not be entering that space of incubation. But if I'm not doing both, 9 times out of 10, I'm finding myself in a life of suffering, uninspired, burnout, right? Who would like a life of burnout? Most of us wouldn't want it, but what I'm learning now is these are the steps to integrate into our lives so that we can live lives inspired. Rest and relaxation. Our intention, our reflection, gathering of information, rest and relaxation are all ingredients necessary for inspiration to flow naturally. So what this can help us understand is we don't need to continue to pursue growth without rest. In the physical, I remember getting this book called The 4-Hour Body. Anybody ever heard of Tim Ferriss? best-selling author, podcaster. The 4-Hour Body was this amazing compilation of things that he did called biohacking, etc., and used himself as a guinea pig. And I wanted to get in really good shape. I was about 30 pounds less than I was in college. Some of y'all can't relate to that. It's like, I'm trying to do the opposite. I was trying to gain weight and put muscle back on because I had shrunk so much. It was like, oh my goodness, I got to do something. This guy had a chapter in there called Occam's Protocol, where he'd interviewed some of the most amazing weightlifters. And he was showing the fastest way to put on muscle and to bulk up, like the Olympians, the fastest route. And it meant going to the gym 20 to 30 minutes at a time, about 2 to 3 times a week. Now you got those guys in there working out for hours. He's saying in Occam's Protocol, the rest is the most important part. To go in, lift to fatigue, and then rest in 20 minutes. I'd never seen anything like it. I tried it. I gained 30 pounds of muscle in about, 2 months? Something ridiculous. I'd never seen gains like that. Never. But what it taught me is the rest is critical, and it's sometimes counterintuitive how important that rest is. It's the same thing in our lives. That rest is so important. I'm learning that I go in cycles. I'll jump on a project, work for weeks and weeks, and then I got to have some rest. Some of us work that way. Some of us are more, I work every day and put that balance in place, right? You got to find what works for you. All right. Finally, we must make time to remember. Remember why we're here, to experience, choose consciously, and create a quality of thought that aligns with the quality of living we wish to experience. The quality of thinking informs the quality of our experience. As I talked about that wonderful framing of the facts, remembering that we have the power to choose. And if we don't like what we're experiencing, remembering to reflect, remembering to rest and allow the inspiration, remembering to set those intentions, remembering to implement our practices. When we find ourselves in resistance or a state of negative judgment of what is, then we are informing a quality of experience that is the same. We reap what we sow. Thus, remembering our power to choose a better experience each moment depends on the quality of our thinking. This is the key to liberation, the key to living a life of empowerment versus victimization. We're here to choose. We learn from that choosing through reflection, and we repeat the cycle. Thus, the invitation, simply to reflect, making it a practice daily. Through meditation, self-reflection, give ourselves the ability to experience inspiration through rest and relaxation. And remember the power we have to choose the quality of our thinking so that our experience of life is fulfilling. To the essence of our lives, the source, simply say thank you for the continuous reminders that we have the power. May we find rest in you through our alignment, knowing that we are extensions of source in part and in whole. May we remember our oneness, remember our perfection, remember our power. May we receive the inspiration to step into fully our roles, that beautiful soul's blueprint that we've been blessed with to enter into these experiences. And may we take time to reflect, to make space, so that we might be redirected where needed, depending on that wonderful insight you provide. May we be expressions of limitless love and light from moment to moment. Giving thanks, we simply say Ashe Aho, and so it is. Too kind. This is a simple song that is a chant. I'm going to invite you to sing with me. I'll show you how it goes. And the reality is, man, it's such good medicine for me because it's so easy to forget. Quick story, since my son's here, I'll tell it. One day I had this profound meditation reminding me to apologize to our son for something I'd done a long time ago when he was about maybe 3 or 4. And what struck me was his reply. I was like, son, you remember that time I took you in the bathroom for the first time? We were out on Thanksgiving with his grandma. And for the first time, he refused to do something I told him to do. And he was obstinate. And I grabbed his hand. I said, come with me to the bathroom. And I grabbed it. And I was angry. And I spanked it really hard. Probably as hard as I could in that moment. And I remember the look on his face, because that's the first time I'd ever done that. And he had this look. And in my meditation, I could see it. I was just like, wow. So I went to him, I just said, son, I'm so sorry. I struck you out of anger. And I'm sorry. And he said, it's okay, Dad. I forget that. I'll never forget that. It hit me so powerfully. I ended up writing this song just about how we forget sometimes to be loved. But all the ways we forget, you know, to be loved for ourselves. How we forget that, my favorite example, the politicians are children of God, right? All of them. We forget to be loved. We forget to forgive. That day he was a great reminder. So this is a simple chant, just to bring that intention of forgiveness to ourselves, to others. And there's a little thing called historical trauma. So we can even bring forgiveness to that. The ancestry, whatever it is, goes like this. 2 parts, by the way. This is the first part. Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten? I've forgotten. Can you sing that with, would you forgive me? Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten? I've forgotten. Good job. This is the second part. Would you forgive me now? Hey. Would you forgive me now? Hey. Would you forgive me now? Hey. 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 Sing that. Would you forgive me now? Hey. Would you forgive me now? Hey. Would you forgive me now? Hey. 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 That's the whole thing. So what we're gonna do, I want you to bring to mind anyone or anything you either need to release and forgive yourself for, or you want to ask someone else to forgive you for. Bring that to mind. We're gonna sing that together. Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten, Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten? Hey, I've forgotten. Would you forgive me now? Would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Hey, 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 hey. Would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Hey, hey, hey. Now, imagine someone that you feel has done some sort of harm or mistake to you or those you love. And imagine them asking you the same. As we give, so shall we receive. Whoever you can bring to mind. Imagine they've asked you this, and I want you to respond, yes. Yes, I forgive you for all of the ways that you've forgotten. Maybe it's yourself. You've forgotten. Yes, I forgive you for all of the ways that you've forgotten. Hey, that you've forgotten. Yes, I forgive you now. Yes, I forgive you now. Hey, yes, I forgive you now. Yes, I forgive you now. Yes, I forgive you now. Hey. Yes, I forgive you now. Yeah. Yes, I forgive you now. Yeah. Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten? Hey, that I've forgotten. Would you forgive me for all of the ways that I've forgotten? Hey, I've forgotten. Would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Hey, would you forgive me now? Yes, I forgive you now. Hey, yes, I forgive you now. Hey, yes, I forgive you now. Hey. So we give thanks for all those who came before, to the ancestors. We forgive those who suppressed, oppressed, harmed, knowing that they are our consciousness. We forgive the forgotten. We forgive the mistakes. We forgive the false beliefs in separation, inferiority, superiority. So it is.
I was just going to say that. Holy cow, y'all. Wow. Wow. By the way, y'all, I mean, this was so much to take in. I thought, I'm going to take notes. No, I could not do that. But this will be on our Facebook page. And I urge everyone to go back in and to listen and to listen and to listen, because this can be a life-changing moment, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So thank you, John. Beautiful. And now we come to our time for conscious giving. And I want to tell you, we need to be giving today because John gave to us in so many ways. So please join us. It's now, as I say, time for our conscious giving. Remember, money is a spiritual activity. Spiritual giving is an opportunity to express our gratitude and open our consciousness to receive greater abundance. It's the practice of participating in the circulation of universal good. You have 3 ways to give here at CSL West Georgia. You can put cash or a check in the envelope that's found in your bulletin. You can donate online by accessing your personal Breeze account using the Breeze mobile app on your phone. You can also donate electronically with your phone by using the information found in the back of the bulletin. This information is also being placed in the chat window for our online viewers. So if you would please join us in our conscious giving. Now, as one consciousness for prosperity, let us say together, I freely give with a feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others and myself as well.
This is a song I wrote for our congregation. Freely I give, freely I give, giving from my heart and from my soul. Sing it with me. Freely I give, freely I give, and the gifts come back to me tenfold. Lovingly, lovingly I give, lovingly I give, giving from my heart and from my soul. Lovingly I give, lovingly I give, and the gifts come back to me tenfold. Freely I give, freely I give, giving from my heart and from my soul. Freely I give, freely I give, and the gifts come back to me tenfold.
And together we say, I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. And I wanted to, with the givingness, I'd like to also make a little announcement that over on the table, we have a love offering that we would like to have you all participate in if you would like. And it's for our precious John. So he comes and donates his time to us so freely and so lovingly. And so we want very much to give him a love offering from our community as another thank you all. Now, announcements. The biggie, of course, is John's newest book. Here it is. It's over here on the table. Afterwards, when we're done today, please come over and see John and Kathy. The book is for sale. We are the first ones to have it. Ta-da! So this is first edition for us. It was released on Amazon, and it has become an international #1 bestseller already. So, wow. for us. Say it together. Wowie, wow, wow. So needless to say, this is an exciting event. So please come and see John afterwards. He's got his other books here. He also has a wonderful little gadget that I love. I can plug it into my computer or wear it on your wrist. It's got his songs on it. So you can see Kathy and John both about all that and have him sign your book. Okay. All right. Regular announcements after that. We do have next Sunday. I wanted to let you all know that our guest speaker is going to be Reverend Bronte, whom we dearly love. So she will be with us next Sunday. And we've been collaborating with the SLCA Church on so many things for such a long time. And they have a very, very exciting event coming up on November 3rd that I would love for you all to know about. They are celebrating 45 years as a church. Isn't that fantastic? So they're having a big celebration that whole week. And we would love to have a caravan because their service starts at 3 in the afternoon. So if we could all, after church that day, let's get a caravan going, y'all. Sign up. Let me know who all wants to go so that we can all go down there and celebrate with them. It's also Reverend Dr. David's 20th anniversary. So it is a big deal down there. You're going to be down there before long. Yeah. So it's really going to be an incredible event. They have a whole weekend planned. They have a concert going on. John won't be there, but they'll have someone else. But pardon me? Yeah, Eddie Watkins Jr., which I'm sure probably several people know. Yes. Woohoo! Sean is back there dancing already. So it's going to be a big, big event. So you'll hear me talking about it as we get closer to it. So our book club, of course, is going on Thursday nights. Please remember, come on down here if you like, or you can join us online. See Dorothea, because she has all of that. And our affirmative prayer treatments, our wonderful Shauna, Nathaniel's mother, and Dorothea. If you would like to have affirmative prayer treatment done for you, please fill out a little card and we'll put it over here in the box. And then they pick that up and they do treatments for you. So that's for all week. By the way, I'd like to have Ronnie come up for a minute. She has a little request.
Okay. So we have these online donation cards that we printed up so that all of you who donate electronically and can put these in the offering plate to represent your gift, so we can honor it up here. Well, they're disappearing. So we're down to a very few now, and we have 80% of you are donating electronically. So look at home, see if they accidentally walked off with one in your pocket. And if you did, please bring it back so we make sure that we can have plenty of these for people to pick up at the door to put in the offering plate. Thanks.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie. Yes, that is important. Let me see if there's anything else y'all need to know. Oh, wait, visitors. Do we have some visitors today? New people? Any little hands? No, all right.
These are all old people.
These are all old people. Well, now wait a minute. I'm the oldest one here. Let's be careful. These are all good people, right, y'all? Woohoo! All righty. Remember, we're on social media. You all know we're on everything, so make sure you check. Oh, wait. We have a hand raised. Okay. Fabulous. Yes. Their education, go on their education page. Yeah, Great. Thank you, Shauna, for
Shauna is
reminding
our
us.
practitioner, and she's also growing our congregation one baby at a time.
Yes. She has contributed the newest member. Thank you, Shauna. I think that she's going to turn it over to someone else. But we're delighted. We love it because we get to see him grow. And
Nathaniel.
that's the exciting thing
Nathaniel.
about any family. And that's who we are. We are a family and we are growing. We are growing, y'all. So thanks to everybody who's here, you old people,
Regulars.
and you new ones and you regulars. We love it all. So we would love for you all to join us in our closing affirmation. And when we're finished, then we'll meet in a circle, hold hands, and we're going to sing the peace song together. And we have John and Cynthia leading us with wonderful singing voices, which I do not have. So please join us and sing loud over me. All right, let us stand.
Are you
and-
forgetting the most important thing? We have food.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I was so excited about the book signing. Listen, we want you all to spend the afternoon, join with John and get some food. And you know us, we love to eat. So come and enjoy, all right?
All right. Let's all join in. And
All righty. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good comes from us. Only good comes to us. And so it is.
let's send some peace out into the world, everybody. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With spirit as our creator, united are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, that begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live in peace eternal.